Happy birthday to me ！Hello， 生日平安曉得起，係啦，係我嘅生日。So it's the 27th of December 2022，咁係2022年12月27號啦。It's kind of like just another day, but it's also I guess it's fun just to remind myself like there's another year coming up, and then life just wouldn't turn out as you always dream of. 咁我覺得係咯，咁好似記低呢一日啦，咁即係又一年啦，咁提醒下自己唔係一定如願以償嘅人生，但係最緊要曉得起，要無憾無悔咁樣繼續落去啦。直至願望成真啦，係啦。Yeah, so it hasn't been a good year for me. 2022年唔係超級好啦，咁 and so it's the end of this year. 咁已經嚟到年尾啦。So hopefully and no willfully I will make next year better. 咁我哋就立志出年會覺得更加好啦，咁樣。So without further ado, let's begin today's reading. 咁我哋正式開始啦。Read to Resist 228。當閱讀也是抗爭第228日。A Concise History of Hong Kong by John Carroll。香港簡史從殖民地到特別行政區，著者高馬可，譯者林立偉。Having been favorably impressed by the Chinese in Laobuan when he was governor there, Hennessy was also the first governor to make a serious effort to enlist the help and opinion of Chinese in Hong Kong. It was Hennessy who in 1880 appointed the first Chinese, Ng Choi, to the Legislative Council. Although Ng's appointment was only temporary, it reflected the increasing influence of the Chinese merchant community, which in 1879 had asked for more representation. The only British-educated Chinese barrister in the colony, Ng was born in Singapore, making him a British subject, and in 1877 became the first Chinese called to the British bar. After his short term expired, Ng went to China, where, better known as Wu Ting-fang, he became a legal advisor to the Qing government and then the first Chinese minister to the United States. Only after 1883, when Governor Bowen convinced the colonial office to let him nominate 3 unofficial legislative council members, one of whom would be Chinese, was there always a Chinese member on the legislative council. Bowen nominated Wang Xing, a journalist and businessman educated at the Morrison Education Society School and in the United States, where he later served in the Chinese legation in Washington. According to Bowen, Wang was fully qualified to look at Chinese affairs with English eyes and at English affairs with Chinese eyes. 軒尼詩在納敏 Laobuan 擔任總督期間，對當地華人留下良好印象。他也是首位港督認真採取措施以尋求香港華人協助，並聽取他們的意見。1880年，軒尼詩委任伍敍為首名立法局華人議員。雖然伍敍的任期只是臨時，但這項任命反映了華商的影響力日漸強大。他們在1879年要求增加政治代表。伍敍生於新加坡，因此是英國子民，是香港唯一在英國受教育的華人律師。1877年更成為首個取得英國律師資格的華人。他在短暫的任期屆滿後回到中國，當地人通常稱呼他為伍廷芳，擔任清政府法律顧問。後來成為首名中國駐美公使。1883年，港督寶雲說服殖民地部，讓他提名3名立法局非官守議席，其中1席由華人充任。從此立法局才有華人議員。寶雲提名的華人議員是黃勝。黃勝先後在馬禮遜學堂和美國接受教育，是報人兼商人。後來在華盛頓的中國駐美公使館公職。寶雲稱黃勝完全能以英國人眼光觀察華人事務，亦能以華人眼光觀察英國人事務。Hennessy also tried to reduce racial discrimination and segregation. In 1877 and 1880, he allowed Chinese to buy land in areas previously reserved for Europeans. In 1880, he helped local Chinese leaders end the discriminatory policy of the City Hall Museum and Library, where Chinese were allowed only at certain times. Hennessy's liberal ideas about racial equality had already alienated the British community of Barbados, where he had been governor. In Hong Kong, the European community blamed his pro-Chinese policies for increased crime and even for the alleged lack of discipline and respect for Europeans among the Chinese population. He was so disliked by the European community that when he left the colony in early 1882, no members of the British business community went to the pier for the traditional farewell ceremony. Leading members of the Chinese community, however, came to bid the governor farewell, presenting him with gifts and embroidered silk banners. 軒尼詩也致力取消種族歧視和種族隔離。他在1877年和1880年容許華人在從前保留給歐籍人的地區購地。1880年又協助本地華人領袖取消大會堂博物館和圖書館的歧視政策，令華人可在若干時段使用這兩項設施。軒尼詩在巴巴多斯 （Barbados） 擔任總督時，由於他在種族平等方面抱持自由主義思想，以令他與當地英國人不睦。在香港，歐籍人抨擊他偏袒華人的政策，令罪案增加，還令華人紀律蕩然和不尊重歐籍人。歐籍人對軒尼詩如此反感，乃至於1882年他離開香港時，英商中沒有人到碼頭出席傳統的送行儀式，但華人領袖到來送別這位港督，送上禮物和繡匾。This is a reading of today. 咁今日就讀到呢度啦 ，which ended like the account and the narrative of Hennessy, which is kind of like who is kind of like the first governor to be more liberal about like racial policies and adding Chinese into like more representation of Chinese representation。咁我哋今日就即係讀完咗關於軒尼詩嘅呢一段啦，咁就即係知道咗佢嘅史蹟。原來佢就係即係第一個總督就係開始真係認真去處理關於種族平等啦，同埋即係多啲有華人代表喺個政府裏面咁樣樣。And it's kind of interesting to read about him because like I told you when I first read like all I knew about Hennessy before reading this book is the primary government primary school named after him。咁我都話啦，即係我未讀呢本書之前，我對軒尼詩嘅認識就係軒尼詩官立小學啦。And that's all I knew about。咁就係我所知嘅嘢啦。And now that I know more about him， 咁而家我就即係知道多啲啦咁。Which comes to a point that like sometimes we always need like at least one person who would be willing to step forward even though he wouldn't be liked by his peers。 咁我估我哋其實真係好需要每一個年代每一個時代，我哋都需要最少有一個人願意踏出一步。雖然佢踏出呢一步可能會令到就算佢身邊嘅人佢嘅同仔會唔中意佢咁樣樣。And I would like to think that I am willing to do this for my people, for my country, Hong Kong。 咁我會希望我自己都做到咁樣嘅嘢啦，一樣為咗我自己嘅手足，為咗香港人，為咗香港呢一個地方，我哋呢個國家。And I've tried very hard。我好努力啦。And right now I'm still kind of finding a new way to be part of the story of Hong Kong。 而家都繼續仲好努力，希望揾到一個新嘅方式去延續香港嘅古仔，繼續成為喺光復香港嘅歷史裏面嘅其中一份子，可以有份寫呢件事，到死嗰日都翹得起啦咁。Yeah, so this would be my New Year kind of resolution, my new kind of like birthday wishes as well, like for myself, like just like how I'm going to change or how I'm going to grow into a person and continue to grow。 咁係我諗我新年立志啦，同埋生日立志啦，點樣即係每一年都希望自己有多啲成長嘅方向係乜嘢啦咁。I realized that I really did not remember what happened last year on my birthday。 我今日發現咧，我完全唔記得咗舊年我係點樣過生日嘅咁。So right now with this project, so it's kind of like a vlog now. 咁我而家呢個 project 好似漸漸變成係我 vlog 咁樣啦，我嘅日記啦咁。So today I went to Comuna Tresa. 咁今日就去咗一個叫做 Comuna Tresa 嘅地方啦咁。So it's kind of like a community, a neighborhood, which now is like very touristic and like everybody depends on tourism to make their living there. 咁而家就係一個嘅地區一個區域啦，即係咁樣。而呢個區即係佢叫13區啦。咁13區就成為咗即係一個好重要嘅一個旅遊嘅景點啦。咁 full of like beautiful street arts and a lot of artists have their galleries there. There are hip hop artists doing their music and so. And it has a history of violence and how it has now been turned over and become this amazing neighborhood, which become like one of the safest neighborhood actually in Medellin here. 咁呢個區其實以前就係充滿暴力嘅一個區啦，遊擊隊入侵咗、佔領咗，然後即係有一段好長嘅時間都係好危險嘅地方。咁然後後嚟就係即係卒之係政府趕走咗啲遊擊隊啦，呢度社區嘅人佢哋團結起來，然後即係重新再將呢一個區域變成而家就係街頭藝術家、hip hop 藝術家佢哋嘅即係一個嘅地區，然後好重嘅歷史文化同埋即係佢哋一個區有自己好強嘅一個身份嘅象徵，周圍有好多嘅壁畫啦，都係述説翻佢哋嘅故事、佢哋嘅歷史，佢哋即係成個地區點樣走埋一齊咁樣樣啦。咁所以佢哋而家呢個區咧已經成為咗咧全個 Medellin 呢個城市咧其中一個最安全嘅區域啦咁樣樣。So very proud people, amazing artwork. 好有自己即係一個身份認同嘅一個地區啦，跟住大家係好即係好有創意啦，啲藝術好有好靚嘅唔同嘅作品啦咁樣樣。So it was quite an experience and so happy I did the tour on my birthday. 咁好開心佢生日有個咁樣樣嘅本地遊啦咁。It's organised by my school actually, so it's free for me. 咁因為係學校安排嘅免費嘅文化活動啦、文化體驗活動啦，咁所以我係唔使俾錢嘅。But I did like donate a few bucks here and there around in the galleries for the artists and and also like bought some stickers and postcard of artwork just to support the artists there. 咁我係有捐錢俾啲藝術家啦，佢哋其實係開好多啲畫廊咧，都係即係大家可以免費入場咁，但係佢哋就靠即係大家入 tips 啦，佢哋叫咁，其實即係類似就係隨緣落座咁樣樣就自由俾錢啦咁我都喺其中一個畫廊買咗少少買咗2張貼紙同埋買咗個 postcard 咁就係支持下啦咁樣樣。So very powerful artwork 好有力嘅作品啦，好多故事嘅作品啦咁。And whenever I come to this sort of neighborhood, it kind of reminds me of Soho actually, because they also have the escalator going upward. 咁其實咧都令我諗起香港蘇豪區嘅，因為即係佢哋都有個手扶電梯咁一路上啦。But it's a very different vibe. 咁但係好唔一樣啦，當然即係蘇豪區就係食嘢啊，即係比較高檔啲嘅嘢啊咁樣。咁但係即係呢度係真係一個好平民、好街頭同埋好充滿即係一個社區裏面嘅身份認同嘅文化咁樣樣。And it just like sort of make me think, oh, when we have our own independent Hong Kong, when we have our home again, then like how would we tell our story through arts and cultural exchange like this? 咁我成日都會諗到我光復香港之後，就我哋喺香港點樣可以有一個咁樣嘅區域，或者點樣利用呢一類型嘅即係我哋自己嘅藝術嘅表達方式去述説翻香港嘅故事咧咁。So yeah, it's quite amazing and I really enjoy it. 咁我超開心、超享受。So this is it for today. 咁今日就嚟到呢度啦，and I'll see you again tomorrow. 聽日再見，拜拜。